Shut up and sit down.
Ahoy! It's Dave Landau, and you're watching Andy Smith, the coolest comic book creator around. Just ask his mom. I have. All hail Comicsgate! Bam! Bam! Bam!
Oh, Dave, you crack me up. Hello, everybody. This is Andy Smith, your 31-year veteran of the comic book industry. Here we are talking about, I hope everyone stateside had a good Memorial Day weekend. Peter Orchard Studio says, Dave is hilarious. He is. And Shadowhawk, I didn't miss you. What is up? Hail to you. Today, I want to talk about Obi-Wan, the new limited series, because I don't know. I see all this mixed stuff. I have my own thoughts on it and stuff. So I'm not by myself. Well, say some more highs. What's up, Marcus? Glad you got it and you're reading again. Hello, AJ. Richie's in the house. And yes, Peter, hail to you. So I will bring on the esteemed panel. Of course, my partner in crime on Wednesdays on the DNA show, that would be Dennis. Not the Menace, but the Turner. Dinja, there he is.
Welcome, everybody. It's a good
Dennis,
Star Wars day.
Talking about Star Wars, and I have to see a stupid Star Trek Enterprise behind you on a screen. You could have come prepared. No gang signs, Dennis. And then to even the panel out, we welcome one of our favorite ladies of CG. She is the female version of Ricky Gervais. Charlie's London.
That's a great introduction. I love that.
Charlie's welcome. She does not want to be on camera because she saw Dennis and she's like, I can't compete. I'm not turning my camera on.
That's 100% right. That's totally 100% right.
I know. I am so sorry. Next time I will get one of the Michael Myers / William Shatner masks. Then that'll even the play field.
There it is.
That's fun.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan. So I want to go around first so everybody know. Oh, and first off, there will be spoilers. So if you've yet to watch the first 2 episodes, you can hang out, hear some spoilers, or you can ditch now, watch it later after, watch this later after you've watched those. But I think we have a good group of Star Wars aficionados in a way. You have the young, would Padawan be the right word, Dennis?
Maybe.
The young one? That's me. And what I mean by that is I've seen all the movies, but that's it. I haven't read any of the books. I take it back. I've seen some more. I've seen the new what was the one that was based on the Clone Wars that came out earlier in this year that was animated?
Oh, the Bad
Batch.
The Bad Batch.
Yeah. So I've seen that, and I've seen all the Mandalorian stuff. Was there? Oh, and I did see Book of Boba Fett, but that's all I've seen. I'm not really steeped in the history and stuff like a lot of people are. So that's the view I'm going to be coming from. And Dennis.
So besides all the movies and TV shows, I read a lot of everything from Timothy Zahn, Anderson's books. I read a lot of the novels. I read where Chewbacca died. I read the Yuzong Vong, all that stuff. So a lot of the extra novels that were out there. Obviously, all the original Marvel comics and then the new Marvel comics. the bulk of probably the Dark Horse. I also did the role-playing games, the original West End games, not to mention the D20 variants and stuff on them. So I do have a lot of books. I'm fairly well-versed. There's always people that know more than you, but fairly well-versed in Star Wars.
Man, Dennis, the more I hear about your past, the more I just wonder what it is exactly or how much you were paying Susie to be married to you for now 29 years as of this past Sunday.
What this is that she is attracted to pure knowledge.
At least I can go this far and now know irrefutable evidence from your love of Star Trek, comic books, and Star Wars that Susie actually married a virgin. So that was good for her.
Oh,
Good on her. Good on her. She got fresh pickings.
She got it. So there was no kicking that tire around, is what you're saying.
Just saying. And Charlie's, where do you fall in the spectrum of Star Wars?
well, I've seen all the films. I've seen even the spin-offs like Rogue One and Solo. I've seen I've seen all of The Mandalorian. I only saw the first and the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett. The first one, I watched it and went, this is absolute trash. And then the last one, because one of my friends went, Baby Yoda's in it. So I then watched that one. And then I did read some of the books and the comics, which obviously Disney Star Wars says is not canon anymore. So I'd say my knowledge is pretty good. But there will be things that I will not be sure of because I'm not that good. But I live with like the male equivalent of Anna. So, and when I say that is because like Jan has a freakishly good knowledge of Star Wars. I mean, when his mum moved from one house to the other, when she downsized last year, we went into the attic and took out like all of his children's toys, and they were all everything was Star Wars, hundreds of these figures, but you wouldn't have been able to sell them because they were so played with. I mean, like so played with. And then in my parents' loft, I've actually got the one thing he does. I have no other Star Wars toys anymore because they all got handed down, apart from the one thing he doesn't have, which I think is really weird. So my cousin who passed away last year, we grew up together, and he actually gave me his Millennium Falcon, and it was still in the box. And he gave
no way.
When he was 10 years older than me, so he gave it to me when I was about 7, 8, and he was about 18. So he obviously, wasn't going to play with this anymore. And it had like Han Solo and Chewbacca and an original R2-D2 and C-3PO. But what was unique about it was we didn't get your Star Wars toys over here. We had a company called Palatoy that made all the Star Wars toys. And Palatoy's toys were unique because it'd have the outer shell, and then the insides would be made of cardboard because it was like a low budget version, because they were actually made in the UK. So I've got one of them, and apparently now they are not only rare, but I've still got it in the box because I was really, with my toys when I was little, I used to put them all back in the boxes. So I don't know how much it's worth. I would never sell it because it's got a stupid amount of sentimental value. But to say like Star Wars has always been around. But Jan can come out with things like he will just literally talk about the hierarchy of the empire. He'll talk about the little ships. He'll talk about these different things, and I will be like, he's my Wikipedia. So whatever I don't know, I can always throw over and go, Jan, and then he'll just give me an answer.
I guess the question I have in regards to the toy is, you say it's the one thing he doesn't have, but unless things are different over there, usually when you get married, it's what's his is mine and what's hers is mine and whatever. So technically, it is kind of his now, right?
Yeah, I think he 100% would say that one if it didn't belong to my cousin, who, like I said, is sadly no longer with us. Right. So I think that he would pull that one, but I think he knows that he would literally be prizing it out of my hands, and I don't think he would ever do that. But he's right here
in a museum.
Oh, he's itching to say something.
I heard him.
You can't make this boy a cup of tea and hope that it shuts him up for long enough. No, he had this, it's a shame I can't go on camera because anyone that was watching knows I've got this real horrible thing with I've got this conjunctivitis at the moment. But for Christmas last year, I actually bought him a replica of Luke's helmet. And
that's cool.
when you put it on, you press the buttons and it's got surround sound, so it makes the noises as you're wearing it. So I might be able to just put it up to the speaker and I'll let you hear what it's like. But it also, you can change it to be in like the trench run or the Battle of Hoth. And if it's the trench run, the lights inside the helmet flash red. And if it's Hoth, they flash blue. So
that's cool.
Yavin. Sorry, no, I got corrected. See, Battle of Yavin. I told you, Wikipedia on my left over here.
I hear you.
Once your eye clears up, one of these days you'll have to bring that out on one of the streams because that would be fun to see.
Yeah. 100% I will. But I would love. I think my dream stream would be to watch that, have him and Anna just have a conversation on air, because I just want to see them like Star Wars battle it out of, like, you know, they have rap battles, like Star Wars battles. I'd love to see like which one. But I think they'd be too nice to each other and they'd just be complimenting each other all the time on their knowledge. So I don't think it would get like spicy.
That's because they would agree with each other.
Yeah, they would. They'd 100% agree with each other.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. Well, hopefully here I don't know. So with Obi-Wan, I've seen the first two. My daughter is totally into Star Wars. I should actually tell her she should take a video of the stuff she has. She just redid her room. It's just all over the place. But anyhow, so she's really excited, but she's seen everything, kind of like we have, all the movies. She loves the first three from the 70s, 80s. She loves, which I know are 4, 5, and 6. And she loves, she hates the last three newer ones. So she's on track there. But when it comes to the shows, maybe it's because of her lack of knowledge or just her innocence. She loves the stuff. She loves Mandalorian. She loved Book of Boba Fett. She's so excited for Obi-Wan. We watched the first 2 episodes last week. And, if you ask her, she'll say, oh, it's the best thing. She loved it. Now, if you ask me, I probably wouldn't even be watching it if it wasn't for her, because, it didn't entice me enough to keep me pulled in, like, ooh, what's going to happen next week? Dennis collects replicas of Star Wars characters' severed limbs. Not creepy. It's true. He does. It's weird. He has them right next to him in bed. Creepy.
And one of them's named Andy.
Oh, why would you name Chewbacca that? Anyhow, so I watched them, and I think, I thought the first episode was good setup, basically kind of reestablishing everything, so we know where all the pieces are in play and stuff like that. When they introduced little Princess Leia, that didn't really throw me off. I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't know. I think out of the first 2 episodes, I'll keep watching it because Courtney wants me to, but I am curious to see where it goes. And I think the big complaint, I don't know if it's a complaint, it's just how do you get around it, is Dennis and I were talking about this, is the problem is we know where Obi-Wan ends up. We know where Leia ends up. We know where Luke ends up. So any death, anything that they do to threaten these characters is like, they're going to live.
Well, Andy and I were having a conversation. We were kind of talking about what we thought. And then Andy happened to mention to me, Charlie's, that you had some particular points, and he kind of threw a couple of them at me, and he had seen your posts, and I was like, yeah, I think I kind of agree with her. And he's like, what? So he goes, we should probably talk about it. So I kind of want to get your thoughts and then see if I agree, disagree, or whatever.
Okay, so I won't be watching the third one because I thought it was total trash.
Oh my!
By the way, I love it when, with your accent, anybody with your accent, when they say something's trash, it really cuts to the core. Like if I go, Dennis, that shirt you're wearing, it's trash. It has no meaning.
Right, because he actually means the opposite when Andy says it. Like,
no.
He loves the shirt. So
it has no meaning because it's just plain. But Charlie, for me, and Dennis won't mind, say, Dennis, your shirt is trash.
Dennis, your shirt is utter trash.
See that?
Oh, damn.
It cuts, doesn't it?
It does, because it feels like she's looking at your shirt, your Captain America Hawaiian shirt.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, I'll tell you why I think it's trash.
Yes.
Okay.
Is because it started for me with Little Leia. Now, I actually thought the actress that played Little Leia was pretty good, and I thought I liked. She definitely knew, and whoever coached or even her herself had, they definitely did channel Carrie Fisher, and it was definitely, I imagine how Leia would be when she was younger.
Yes.
My issue is it now totally derails the message that was put inside R2-D2 in A New Hope, because the way that she says that message, there is no emotion. And she says, "You knew my father." Hang on. He wasn't just, "I knew your father," in brackets now. The guy saves your life and saves you from this Inquisition and this situation that these people that kidnapped you in order to draw out Obi-Wan Kenobi. She wouldn't say that message that impersonal.
Correct.
If she had this whole situation with him. That's my first problem. The second thing I have a problem with is that when did we all start thinking that Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't know that Anakin is Darth Vader? Because forgive me if I'm wrong, but if you go to Revenge of the Sith, he clearly sees on a monitor him go, arise, Senator Palpatine go, or the Emperor now, arise Lord Vader, and it's him in his own clothes. So he knows that he becomes Lord Vader. And then there's all these people online going, well, maybe he thinks he died. No. Like, seriously, he's in hiding because he can't be found by these people. But equally, why can't Darth Vader have sensed him before this, or sensed it? And why would it be 10 years? Like, everyone says, oh, he's on the Outer Rim. Okay, he's on the Outer Rim, but what, these Inquisitors haven't been there. There's also this connotation that the Inquisitors are the children in that opening scene that don't die in when calling of Order 66. But if that's true, then why did these Inquisitors not find any of the others? Like, why is Baby Yoda and why is Grogu still alive then? There's all this connotation and story that he was at the Jedi Temple. It's just they're playing, in some respects, they're playing around with their own timeline. In other respects, they're playing around with the original. It's just, they've left more questions with this than answers. And it's just really ridiculous. It's like the whole thing when Obi-Wan Kenobi is hiding behind that dumpster truck when they're trying to get on the freight ship. And it's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi would not be hiding from this snotty-nosed little Inquisitor. For one thing, his arch enemy was Darth Vader. Darth Vader, he says to Darth Vader in A New Hope, "Strike me down and you'll make me more powerful than you can ever be." He's not going to be hiding from her. He could have simply just used the Force and thrown her out of the way. She quite clearly doesn't have the same level of power as he does. So it's
right.
Just,
that's a question I actually, not to cut you off, that's a question I had too with him hiding and stuff. I'm like, wait, did I miss something here? Does he not have the Force anymore? Does it go away? Because we know it didn't, because he actually used it. So I'm like, why are you hiding from this person? You can do so much. That was the thing that was going through my mind. The other stuff you brought up, referring to like A New Hope, the movies and stuff, you watch one of Dennis and I's podcasts and you'll realize that my memory blows. And if I haven't watched it like the day before, I don't remember any of that stuff. So those are great points. Is basically all I'm saying.
And I tend to agree with you on a lot of it. So nobody realistically that was there. Nobody out there knows that Anakin Skywalker. There's really only a couple of people that know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. So if their workaround is to say the younglings that escaped when the Jedi died, somehow they miraculously, I did love how they had a stormtrooper or two trying to shoot the Jedi and knock the Jedi down when the stormtroopers can't hit anybody. So that made no sense, but even if that were true, they saw stormtroopers come in. You never saw Anakin. So you're having to draw a lot of inferences. She would not know that. Nobody would. the other point with Obi-Wan Kenobi, so for 10 years, Lord Vader has been ruling the galaxy with his iron fist. And yes, it's been spreading out there, but seriously, everybody in the galaxy at this point knows of Lord Vader.
Thank
he
you.
controls
That's
everything.
my point. That's exactly my point. Obi-Wan is not stupid, whether he can fill him with the Force or not. He's going to know. He knows that Lord Vader is not dead, and he also. And it's like, you
Correct.
know, Jan and I were having this conversation. If you try to fit the Emperor and Darth Vader into the hierarchy of the Empire, you can't actually do it. We know that George Lucas drew a lot of comparisons between the Second World War and when he made Star Wars. The original trench run with A New Hope was actually, he used dogfight footage from World War II to create that. And I knew that years ago because of something that I remember watching when I was doing media at school on Industrial Light and Magic. So that was one thing that always stuck in my head. And, he based them characters to be like the SS. So how the SS didn't fit in with the Wehrmacht and the German army during World War II, they were like this evil thing that hovered over the top. That's exactly what the Emperor and Darth Vader are. Darth Vader's meant to be like the number one most feared henchman. He's his right-hand man. Right. He doesn't even fit into the hierarchy of the Empire, because if you read the original books, which I will say I haven't, but I know that Jan has, he doesn't even fit into the hierarchy of that. You can't say he is more powerful towards the Empire than this person because he doesn't fit in the chain of command. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but he would still know who he was because of the fact of he knows what he's capable of and what he should have been. So it's just ridiculous. And the other thing that really irritated me was he went back to his home, which looked like a cave. Now, no disrespect, but when did Obi-Wan Kenobi start looking like he was living like one of the members of the Taliban? Because he's in the middle of a cave with nothing in it. And I'm thinking, hang on, he's known for being this like old hermit that lives on the outskirts that Uncle Ben tells Luke not to go anywhere near because he's a grumpy old hermit. But surely if this is set 10 years before A New Hope and 10 years after Order 66, he would have been established somewhere by then. And also, if he's going on about, I need to keep this boy safe, then why are you bringing crap to your own planet? Like, they would obviously find him on Tatooine, which then will expose Luke. It just leaves too many. It's just really frustrating. And there's we watched The Phantom Menace the other day just to basically put it on, and there's a bit in that where the Gungans and like Amidala's people are obviously going to fight off the army, and the Gungans go, we don't care what happens on the surface. And then Obi-Wan says, but you are a symbiotic life form. What happens to one happens to the other. Well, if that's the case, then why are you saying in Obi-Wan, like, why are you saying in the TV series, I can't go and help Leia because I've got to look after Luke? Bitch, they're one and the same. They're twins. You can't leave one and not look after the other.
Right.
Right, it's just it, and then he has to do it now. Now, take it a step further. He's in the cave, right? And when the whole thing with Bail contacting him to go after Leia makes no sense. Bail Organa is one of the founding members, one of the resistance leaders.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Ahsoka Tano, which, even in her book and stuff, he's got so many resources out there. Oh, he would not be like, Ben, you're the only person we can contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan, it's got to be you. He would have been like, Ahsoka, go get her. Hey, and he's got all of this. That makes no sense. So, but they say, oh, okay, Ben, we'll talk you into it. So I'm trying to hide on a planet. So I'm going to go out into the middle of the desert where I have buried my robes and 2 lightsabers in the ground in the desert. I'm going to dig them up. And I'm going to stay inconspicuous by wearing my Jedi robes with only Jedi wear and carry my lightsaber with me. I mean, you're either hiding from everybody or you're not. It made absolutely zero sense. The problem is these writers are probably, and don't take offense, Andy, are on Andy's level. They watched a couple.
I was going to say that. No, I was honestly going to say, I wonder if, Dennis, I agree with you. There's no offense behind that. I really wonder if these writers have the knowledge that I do, which isn't that deep on this stuff. And I love listening to you two talk like I'm a fly on the wall because I'm learning so much. But I do wonder if two things. One, these writers just have that amount of knowledge like I do. Or two, if maybe they're going, okay, so we could write this where it's like super, super in line with everything that answers you like all these questions you guys are posing. Or do we just want to throw that shit out the window, write something that we think is cool, and people will be like, oh yeah, that's cool. We don't really know what happened between.
They don't even follow their own canon. That's the problem.
Right.
The Inquisitor dies complete. He already died in Star Wars Rebels, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yes.
And he died completely differently in that show when he was, I don't remember the planet, but he's hanging there and there's all the molten lava and stuff. And he goes something to the effect, it's better to die here, whatever. And he lets go and plummets. That is completely different than Reva, this really, really awfully written character who, by the way, in the hierarchy, this is the thing that gets me.
She's the third sister, isn't she?
She's the third sister.
Yeah.
But she smarts off. She breaks the chain of command, and everybody knows what happens if you break the chain of command anywhere in there. What would Vader do, or anywhere down the line? Well, if it was Vader, I'd force snap your neck, and you'd be done with it. He wouldn't care. This whole thing of her lipping off and then going back and just, I'm not going to let you take the credit because I want to get in good with Vader, killing it. It's the stupidest damn writing I have ever. Seriously, we'll go let my 12-year-old nephew go watch Star Wars again, and I think he would write it better.
Right. Well, this is another thing. I'm the first one to hold my hands up and say, anyone in the chat wants to correct anything that I know about Star Wars, please feel free to. Like, I'm nowhere near the level of some of the most prolific people that we know that love Star Wars. I wouldn't even have a conversation with them for fear of looking silly. But if somebody with my knowledge of Star Wars is finding it really irritable, I can understand exactly why, you know. And it's all right coming out and saying, oh, you know, you're taking it a bit too seriously. But what people don't understand is this franchise has been around now for nearly 50 years. It is the heart and soul of a lot of people's childhood. And to be totally fair, I understand why people are getting so upset, because now Disney are doing that classic thing that they do every single time. They came out this morning and basically said in a tweet, if you don't welcome the actress that plays Reva into the Star Wars universe, you're a racist. They actually put that on a tweet this morning. If you
That's
don't,
ridiculous,
right? And I can say to you this, that they do exactly the same thing. I did a series of videos last year on my channel about, obviously everybody who knows me in CG knows that apart from doing all this stuff on Charlie Chaplin, I'm a history teacher. So history is my thing, and I like to be as accurate as possible. Well, over here we have this big hoo-ha because Anne Boleyn, one of the famous queen in history, was played by a black girl, right? And it was a big hoo-ha. And she did the same thing, this actress. When the show bombed, she came out and said, you all don't like my performance because you're racist. No, it's because the script was terrible. The historical accuracy was terrible. You are arrogant, and the whole thing stunk, right? And it's the same thing here. They're doing the same thing. Because the script is terrible, they don't follow the law, the acting is crap, and the character is lame, they're coming out and saying, if you don't like this, it's because you're a racist. No, it's because you're terrible. And the joke of it is they want to turn around and call Star Wars fans racist. Here's a big shock for you. The biggest character in Star Wars, arguably the biggest character, is voiced by a black man. So how do you work that one out? Right? How do you work that one out? And this same actress did an interview, which has since been deleted, which, of course, the screenshots exist online, because once something's on the internet, it never disappears.
Yep, that's right.
She said, it's great that finally Star Wars has a person of color in it. Excuse me?
I know. I saw that. Well, I saw the like response with the images of Sam Jackson and you know Lando,
I mean,
all of them, and you're like, are you kidding? Well, that really goes to, what was it? Wasn't it Brie Larson when Captain Marvel came out that said something about a strong female lead? And it's like, what, did you forget Ripley and Aliens and
Yes.
and Sarah Connor and Terminator and stuff?
Hey, we got a couple of things we'll hit quick. Christians, like, Inquisitors break the rule to begin with. Isn't there a rule of 2 with the Sith? You meant Sith. Inquisitors don't always follow the rules because technically they're not actually Sith. They dabble in, they're actually turned Jedi to go from good Jedi to dark Jedi. So they don't actually follow the rule of only having 2 Sith. So that one, no, because they are a little bit different.
Okay.
It's just it's insanity. I mean, you know, and for the record, I don't actually care about them wanting to race swap these characters if the actors and actresses that are playing them are strong. Like, I was talking to my brother on the phone about this earlier. I was saying to him, you know, that the original Mancunian Candidate was obviously Frank Sinatra, right? Mm-hmm. The remake was with Denzel Washington. Nobody cared because Denzel Washington is an amazing actor, right? And for the record, Moses Ingram, who's now playing Reva, she can act. Like, yes. So she should actually be peed off that they've done this to her. Not double down and say, if you all think, you know, this whole person of color stuff, because actually she acted alongside Denzel in the in Macbeth. And I think she played Lady Macbeth.
See, I didn't see that.
And they were both awesome. I didn't care that it was 2 black people playing Shakespearean characters. Who cares? It was an amazing performance. So it's absolutely insanity. The things.
Well, and that's the thing, though, when it comes to actors, you know, like you said, she's a good actor. It's just, it goes down to the writing and directing and stuff. And that holds true for a lot of, I mean, you can name every blockbuster. You know, Tom Cruise has starred in shitty movies. Is it because he's a bad actor? No, it's because it was a bad script, bad directing.
Totally.
And that's
they wrote it. They did. They wrote her character. We saw her in Queen's Gambit. I thought she was great in that. I mean, she can act. You know, the thing is, they specifically built this character the way they wrote it this way, and they knew what they were doing because even before they came out, if you don't like this character, you're racist.
Yeah.
No, that tells me you specifically went out of your way to do it, full well knowing how the actual fandom would receive it.
Right. And Angry Gamer has a great point. It's one thing to have a person of color in a role. It's another to have to point it out and say, look, and that's true. You know, you shouldn't have to, you know, it's just virtue signaling. Look what we did here. You must like it. And it's like, no, I don't have to, because I'm not looking through it through that lens, you know.
If I was going to want to make a political point by, you know, I don't know, let's just, you know, everyone knows, like, my mum's side of the family's Jewish. So let's say, oh, I'm going to be like the first female Jewish person to be in Star Wars, right? And I came out and said that, I would never in my life turn around and make a dumbass comment like that, because I know walking into something like Star Wars, which has got a legion of fans that know more about it than even the directors that are directing this stuff, you open your mouth and say a stupid comment, they will pull you up on it. So you are better off to just smile, wave, be gracious, take the part, and then get on your merry way. Because the minute these people start opening their mouths, they just sound stupid.
Well, but she's so badly written, and I'm not just meaning the acting part, that she knows who Leia is, that she's the child of it, so she's going to hire Flea and his band of buddies to go swipe her from the Capitol. That should have more security than Carter has liver pills, that they should have guards everywhere, and Leia just runs out, and they just sit there out in the woods and watch her. Nothing about this makes any comment. There's no sense to this whatsoever, other than this entire storyline had plot armor from the beginning.
I mean, for me, the few things that stuck out was Boba Fett and the whole Vader thing at the end. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
With Anakin still being alive. And this is just a small thing. And I saw somebody actually on Facebook say, oh, if you complained about this, there's nothing wrong with that. It was fine. You're just looking for things. I'm like, I don't think so. And it was when they were chasing Leia. I'm like, you can't catch her. You're a grown ass adult. You can't catch. I have a daughter. She's 19 now, and Dennis has a daughter
Who
that's
runs?
grown. But when they were Leah's age, if she ran away from me, guess what? I could catch her. It wasn't that difficult. And in the woods, yeah, because the thing, they had her surrounded. 3 against 1, the one's in the middle, and she's able to basically, like in the Three Stooges, run between their legs and get away.
Well, if you want, go back and watch that chase scene and watch how bad they slowed down. You could see them. They were purposely letting her go, and I'm like, oh my God. They're just trying to prop her up like she's this amazing. She's a kid. You would have gotten her in a heartbeat. I mean, all of this stuff, her entire character, she did feel like Leia in some way. She was able to project. And again, credit to her as a very young actress. I would never pick on a young actress for that. But they wrote her so petulant. I mean, so badly that if I were Obi-Wan and she got running off like that and she turned around and basically called attention to it, I'd be like, okay, you're done. I'm leaving you. I'm taking the shuttle out of here.
Yeah, I'll go protect Luke. He's more important than you.
Yep.
What I noticed, and this is a really niche thing to notice, so I don't know if anyone else in the chat wants to pick it up, but I noticed that they even made a connection, a visual connection, very slight, but it was there, between Obi-Wan and Rey, and it really irked me. The whole scene with him doing that job and then getting his credits and then making that food, sitting in the cave. That was exactly that what happened with the first time that you see Rey. And
I did not catch that. That is a great catch.
We know I didn't. So.
And the other thing was, now anyone that's watched my streams know that I love, there was a Xbox PlayStation game come out 3 years ago now, Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order was the franchise that should have been made instead of those stupid last 3 films. The storyline was strong. The gameplay was awesome. They could have very easily done it. It was incredible. They had thought about the story. You could tell there were people that worked on the storyline of that game that loved Star Wars. Now, what they actually did, if anyone in the chat has played that game, you will know they are just ripping off Cal Kestis' story with this Obi-Wan story, because Cal Kestis is a small child that survives Order 66, but he's plunged into, he's hidden the same way that Luke and Leia are hidden. He goes and he ends up working on like a big scrap metal barge in the sky or something like that, and he forgets his powers, but the Inquisitors are looking for them. He sort of gets in that same scene where the young Jedi is there, and then they purposely put the young, she throws that spear, or I can't really remember now, but she to stop that Jedi getting killed, and then he uses the Force and stops the bartender getting killed. There's pretty much the same thing that happens in the opening sequence of Jedi Fallen Order. Cal remembers he's forgotten all of his Force sensitivity, and as you play the game, he rediscovers his Force sensitivity, and you have to help him become the Jedi that he should be. That's exactly what is happening there with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is meant to have lost or hidden deep down his Force sensitivity, and as we're going through, he's going to find it again. And it's like you've basically taken a story. I might add, this is another thing, Cal Kestis in the game was moulded on the actor that played the the Joker in Gotham. He's already said, he's actually stated, if they made a TV series, if Disney Plus made a TV series of that game, he will play the person that he was molded on for the game. So the game would basically come to life, and they have so far have done nothing. They could have just left Obi-Wan to where he was and gone on with this, and it would have worked. So, seriously, if you don't believe me, when you come off the stream, when you get a 5 minutes chance, go and check out the trailer for Jedi Fallen Order. It is a fantastic game, and the storyline is strong.
Oh, that's cool.
And I went on a rant there, and I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Is Reva supposed to be a bad Disney version of Revan? I don't think so. I hope not. If it is, it is absolute worth. Referencing Darth Raven or Revan. That was because I think he was left for dead by Darth Malik, his apprentice at the time. Now, I mean, if they're trying to say that somehow this is going to turn into it, I mean, seriously, I'll just trash all my stuff right now and just be done with it, because then that tells me they have zero clue on any of the history. Because some of the stuff from the Knights of the Old Republic and stuff are fantastic. I mean, that's the stuff we should be seeing right now, not this garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's the other thing is there's so much that's already out there, like you said, Charlie's, with the video game and stuff like that, that it's like you don't really need to go in and create problems for yourself with these characters that we know there's no stakes against, because we see them. You know what I mean? Like I said in the beginning, Obi-Wan's not going to die. Princess Leia is not going to get severely injured as a kid, because that would have carried through to adulthood. You know, nothing's really going to happen to Luke. There's no real threats, even with Darth Vader. You know, we know where these characters end up. So trying to fill in a gap or go, but look at all these other stories we have. Look at all these novels that have been written, the video games and stuff.
This is what they did when they put out
Right.
Solo.
Well, Solo had no stakes either. Yeah, Solo had no stakes either. And Solo, you know, I wasn't impressed with it for the same reason.
And the thing as well with Jedi Fallen Order is you get to fight Darth Vader at the end. Like it's all fits into the canon. That's why I'm saying I feel like they're running out of ideas and they've ripped things off. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story real quick. I got it for Christmas. It was Christmas 2019. I got it, and I was off on school holidays. Yang came in from work. It was 6:30 at night. I was still in my pajamas, sat in the living room. He went, "What are you doing?" He went, "It's 6:30 at night. Why are you still in your pajamas?" I went, "Well, this droid stole my lightsaber and I had to go and get it back, so it's taken me all day." He went, "That is not the response I think I need to hear from a 36-year-old woman." I went, "I don't care. Go and make me a cup of tea." And that was honest to God. He was like, "What are you doing? Why are you running around on the screen and you're in your pajamas at 6:30 at night?" So it was a very good one.
I got to be honest. That's an awesome story. That is something in 28 years this year. I've never come home and seen my wife, because she's not, neither one of us plays video games and stuff.
Oh, no, we both do. But the other thing that was funny was when we went to see Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, it was Rise of Skywalker, right? He is the most placid person. We are very yin and yang. I'm the fiery one in the relationship. There's no doubt about it.
What?
Sure.
Right?
I know.
Even though he's like the big, massive Star Wars fan, I'm the one that always ends up shouting at the TV, like, because I get really angry. I think part of it is I get angry for him as well. But we went to the cinema to see the film, and he got like Star Wars Tourette's as we was watching in the cinema, right?
Yeah.
We got to the end, and you know when she goes, "My name's Ray Skywalker," he stood up in the middle of this packed cinema and shouted at the screen, "That's not your house! You don't live there!" And I was like, la 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 la, just gonna walk out slowly. So yeah, I think it's important. It makes people passionate, but it was really, really funny. He got really angry at that.
Yep, I believe him.
That's
Christian points out, it says all the games, comics, novels, shows, and movies since Disney purchased are all supposed to interlock and be canon. That's the problem. It's supposed to be. What Disney, for whatever reason, has not figured out with this is, because you already said none of the Dark Horse comics, a lot of the expanded universe stuff is not going to be canon. So only certain things are going to be canon. Then that's the canon, because it's canon for a reason. That's what you need to have somebody in charge of and know what those characters did, what they can and cannot do. And that's the problem they're missing. They have nobody in charge. They got a bunch of, I swear to God, 20-year-olds sitting around. wow, that was a cool scene in that one movie. We should have them do that because that looked cool. Yeah, but they can't do it. But that is exactly how they're writing.
Well, and that's the thing,
blowing
because
away
there's
all of their canon.
Because there's so much stuff out there, right? Like Christian brought up, there's so much stuff out there. You need a person that their whole job is just continuity. You know, what can these characters do? What have they done? Stuff
they
like
got
that.
A database.
And well, I mean, you would like to think with all that stuff, there would be some type of database that could be referenced. But at the same time, it is almost 50 years. How much stuff is out there? You know, because when the guys write the novels, I'm sure they had to, of course, write an outline for what they wanted to do. And it had to go up the flagpole to make sure, it met the certain criteria. But at this, it needs to be collected so it's easily referenced, like the official handbook of the Marvel Universe from the 80s. You just open it up, flip to a certain thing, read up on a character. They had indexes which broke down every storyline and stuff. I don't know. You'd think that would be a department.
Yeah, it should be.
So when they write a script for an episode like this, they might have all the best intentions in the world, but then it needs to be sent in to that department. The department needs to read it through and go, yeah, if this was something that was never done before, I'd say this is great. But here, let me just send this back to you at tabs.
Everybody should. When you're buying for 4.1 or 4.3 or 5, whatever it was, $1 billion, that's something that they'd have to do. Serge puts out a thing. Fans think that Reva's a little, yes, she was. I think so too, but it wasn't just because of that. If you saw the helmets they were wearing, and you noticed the 3 that were there at the end, the Grand Inquisitor, Reva, and I can't remember the other guy, he literally wearing a larger version of that same helm. And I went, oh, that's what triggered it with me. And I went, that must be, I think they were all part of the Padawans that escaped. Therefore, they're all Force sensitive. Therefore, they all turned to the dark side and became part of the Inquisitors. So that's how I think they came in.
But you know what would have worked better? And I think only way that the writing could be redeemed. I mean, Serge says it also in the chat, Reva's hate for the Jedi and Obi-Wan has no basis, so it comes across as cringe. The one way you could save this character, which I don't think Disney are going to do, and believe me, if I'm stand corrected, I'll do a whole stream that I'm stand corrected. So what would work, the reason she's got this obsessive hatred, it's not, we all think that it's about pleasing Vader and whatever. But what if it's actually this twisted thing that she doesn't realize that Vader was part of the group that were killing the younglings, and she's trying to impress him because she hates the Jedi, not because she's now on the side of Darth Vader and he hates the Jedi, but because maybe she is upset because she was trying to escape and she thinks they left her behind. And she was hiding in the temple, and that certain ones escaped with the help of other grown Jedis, and she wasn't one of them that were taken. So she's got this real evil hatred of the Jedi because she thinks they abandoned her, and that she's turned to the dark side because she doesn't realize that Vader is not the one to save her, but was actually the one that ordered carried out Order 66. And then as the series goes on and she starts to listen more to Obi-Wan and she realized all these lies they're not adding up in her head, she actually when she gets him where she wants him, she lets him go because she realizes that Vader's in the wrong, and then Vader kills her. He actually kills her,
right?
And then she's like the diver. She like sacrifices herself to allow Obi-Wan to escape. That would work. That would work. But again, it still doesn't add to the thing. There's all these rumors going around that Vader and Obi-Wan are going to have a lightsaber battle. Well, how the hell is that going to work?
That is a good question, but she's got a real hard on for Obi-Wan specifically, and not just the Jedi, all Jedi in general, but for Obi-Wan, and she can't get it out. You need to let it go. You need to let Obi-Wan go. Oh, okay, I'll let him go. Oh, I can't let him go. I'm just gonna do it. and you know, it's written so harshly, so over the top that anybody, the Grand Inquisitor, would look at her and go, I've already told you I can sense what you're doing because we're all force sensitive and we all can do this. You know what? You're never going to change. I can't have you here.
Yeah, that the only way she's going to redeem herself, because we know she's not in the later ones, so we know she's probably going to die, and we probably know that.
Oh, spoilers! I didn't know that.
Also, it's like, you know, when Leia falls from the building. I said to Yan, wait for it. Obi-Wan, who hasn't used his force in like a million years, is going to stop her from falling off the building. We know she's not going to die when she falls off the building.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the thing.
I think I put up a tweet the other day, which I still stand by. I would rather watch 3 Ben-Hur length films about Jar Jar Binks than watch another episode of this.
Now, I want to go back to sounds like Mrs. Hurd. I want to go back to something you mentioned before about rumors of Obi-Wan and Vader having a lightsaber fight. I mean, and you said, how's that? I mean, why couldn't they? What am I missing?
Well, because they haven't, in A New Hope, they clearly haven't seen each other for so many years.
Oh, okay.
And
once, I forgot. It's been, you know.
But again, and he's been quiet, which means I must be doing something right, because the on-hand Star Wars Siri sit in the corner from me will very much correct me if I say anything wrong. He's like sitting here listening to the stream, and I know he'll say something if I say something wrong. But I'm pretty sure that, and I just did nobody stop and actually watch A New Hope before they sat down and wrote a script?
So what they needed to do is they really needed to watch episodes 3 and episodes 4, since you're literally sandwiching this between them to understand them, and they didn't, because if they would have battled each other at some point in between, Obi-Wan wouldn't have been able to go back to Tatooine because they would have obviously been able to track him. None of this makes sense because they haven't seen each other since he got his legs cut off and he became Vader when Anakin did.
Yeah.
So for them to do this again, it makes no sense. At least at the end of 3, they fill in that really good gap with Vader going down, you know, on the Corvette and going it. That was fantastic. Yeah. That made sense.
Yeah, he says in New Hope, Vader said, the last we met, I was the Padawan, now I am the Master. And that goes back to when they fought and he cut his legs off and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yes, and obviously Vader's been a master for a while now. He's a Lord of the Sith. I don't want to say the Lord of the Sith. Right. A Lord of the Sith. Again, this is basic continuity. This isn't, and for those that watch it, and you guys can always leave your comments if you watch this afterwards too. This is not like little tiny nitpicky things where we're looking. This is gaping holes. I mean, this is just awful, awful stuff. Now, on the bright side, I liked Ewan McGregor's performance. I thought he did a wonderful job, and I thought he kind of bridged the performance with A New Hope with Alec Guinness. I think his performance was fine. You know, I liked him as him. It's just the way they're writing it. Ugh, God.
I love him as Obi-Wan, and actually, I think there's a real nice little sort of there's a nice little connection there in the fact that his uncle was Wedge in the first in the original films. So, you know, there is that nice thing that he's like carrying on this tradition. And really, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to be very, very no one's going to equate Alec Guinness. Like, he doesn't try to. That's the one thing that's, you know, quite good. He doesn't actually try to play him like Alec Guinness does. He plays him as a younger man that there's still going to be things in his life that are going to mold and shape him into the person that we see Alec Guinness later be. But it's, you know, he does have big shoes to fill, and he knows that. But I'm sick and tired of seeing Star Wars where one actor is carrying the whole of the franchise. I mean, if it wasn't for Adam Driver in the latest 3, I mean, those latest 3 were absolute trash anyway, but at least we did get a pretty decent time with the, screen time when he was on the screen. He was pretty good. I did feel the sort of, I did feel that petulant child, that fighting with the Force and fighting with the dark side that he has, that whole thing about wanting to try to impress his father. I mean, I personally think those 3 films would have been so much better if they'd actually gender swapped Rey and Kylo. If they made it was Rey that was constantly fighting with the demons and Kylo that was the one that was out, was living the Rey character, I actually think those films might have stood half a decent chance. But it was the way that Rey just had everything fall on her lap. I mean, Luke had to work. Luke had all them horrible things happen to him, all the things he had to work for, and Rey just got it with. It was pathetic, and nobody cared about them, and it was absolutely insanity. But I really thought that I really hoped that Obi-Wan was going to be so much more than it was, and I think that's what's really sad for me because Ewan McGregor is holding this together. And yeah, it should be based around Obi-Wan and Ewan McGregor because it's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. But we all know that what Disney are actually doing here is they're making it all about Reva, and it's just called Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan's going to be a total weak male that is going to be pushed into situations because of the dominant force that this female character is meant to be.
They turned Obi-Wan into a complete pussy. He is.
Oh my God! I was going to say he is kind of like a pussy.
It was so hard. They basically demasculized everything he did. Oh, he's hiding and he's tepid. None of that is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan
I didn't think
maybe reserved and he would think things through, but that was terrible. I'm just going to say that was the awful part. And I was going to point out to tag onto your comment, Kylo Ren probably was the best part of the trilogy, but it wasn't even in the movie. It was when he showed up on Saturday Night Live skit as undercover boss. That was hands down
that was awesome.
Best Star Wars out of the last 3 Star Wars movies.
Yep.
That was good. No, I was going to say, even my base knowledge of all this stuff, when the Inquisitors came to the town or whatever, and Luke's stepdad there or whatever, they were threatening him. She was threatening him. I'm thinking to myself, I can't see Obi-Wan just hanging back going, she's not going to cut his head off. Come on. You know what I mean? I'm just like, he would do something. There's no way he would just stay back there.
Well, when the new Jedi was found, and that was the other thing. This new Jedi, how did he know where Obi-Wan was out in the desert? How did he even know it was Obi-Wan when he's been hidden and nobody could find him? You knew he was going to die because they can't do anything to Obi-Wan, so they got to have, we'll call him Bob, show up and then die. And it made no sense. Again, none of this made sense from a story writing perspective that this would even happen.
No, not at all. And then have they filmed them all yet, or are they still filming?
I would imagine they're probably
I think for this season it's all wrapped up.
Yeah, I think it's all wrapped. I think pretty much all Disney stuff, unlike network shows where they're overlapping with stuff airing and filming, I think all the Disney stuff is well wrapped before
Are we going to see? Are we going to see a random thrown in thing with Baby Yoda, because he's still alive at this point? Don't forget, he's meant to be 50. He's meant to be 50 when the Mandalorian set, which is the Mandalorian is right in between like 6 and 7, 8, and 9, right? So in theory, he's going to be alive. He's going to be, technically a tadpole, even though he's 30 years of age, like 25, 30. But are we going to see some point of, are they going to do a cut scene after the end where there's this little like cart with this little bundle of something in it that you're going to be led to think, is this it? Because they know Disney are not, I know we say that they're dumb on what they're doing, but as far as certain things are concerned, they know what they're doing. They buy these franchises because they want to sell toys with it. That's really if they can do a smaller version of Baby Yoda. I'm telling you, I bet you it would not surprise me if we don't see him at some point, because at the end of the day, we all want to know where he's come from. So in theory, surely by putting him somewhere in the the timeline of one of the most famous characters in Star Wars, because he's already in with, we've seen him with Luke. Surely there's going to be something where it's, I don't know. I just think it's very, I'm standing steadfast that I'm not going to watch anymore. I will leave. I know that Jan will watch them all, but people were saying to me the other day when I was saying I'm not going to watch it, they were going, yeah, I bet you £50 you're going to watch it, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to watch anymore. I'm bored. I got bored with Hawkeye, and I never watched a single episode after the first one. And Jan will back me up on that. I was like, no, I'm done. This is boring, and I won't watch anymore, because Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know everyone always sees me as loving Baby Yoda and all that stuff, right? But Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite character, and I'm not, and I refuse to watch him be bastardized by Disney. I just can't. I cannot do it. I mean, for Jan's 40th birthday a couple of years ago, I got him an Alec Guinness autograph that I found that someone was selling, like one of the collectors I know from cons when I used to go to them years ago, and it's authenticated and everything, and it's actually as him as Obi-Wan Kenobi is the picture. And
nice.
So it's very much something that's very personal in one respect to both of us. And Alec Guinness is one of my favourite actors of all time. So I just can't watch his legacy be just destroyed. So I just won't watch anymore. If he does, that's up to him, but I won't.
Sure.
Wow. Well, and I know poor Andy's on the search for his favorite. I know he's looking for Jar Jar Binks when he shows up at the convention.
Even I remember old Jar Jar Binks. He can go to the wayside. No, I mean, like I said, I'll watch it. My daughter wants to. My wife has no interest in any of this stuff, so I'll watch it with my daughter. But if it wasn't for her, that's right. If it wasn't for my daughter, I probably wouldn't watch it anymore. But I'll watch it because of her.
If it wasn't for all you guys out there, I would probably stop watching it. But just like with all this other ones, I will fall on the sword to watch it. Hopefully not to criticize the whole thing this season. There were some aspects that were good, but honestly, even through the first two, the writing is just so bad. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stomach it. But then again, it's the fall of another great franchise, the way I look at it.
Well, I just wonder if years from now, if kind of like, and obviously Halloween doesn't have the same history. I mean, it's been around for as long, but the amount of stuff that's out there. But look, Halloween, what was it, 3 years ago? They said, you know what? After Halloween, none of that other crap happened. This is officially Halloween 2 with Jamie Lee Curtis, and in 3 and so on. Do you think at some point they're just going to have to go, Jesus, there's so much out there. We got to really do something to tighten this all back up and just, make a 3-hour movie to try and just bring it all back?
I think they will, and I think that how they're going to do it is they're going to start looking more at Thrawn, and I think that's how they're going to tie this all in together. I mean, I tell you, and Dennis, have you seen Ready Player One?
Oh yes, absolutely.
You know the baddie in Ready Player One?
Yeah.
He's my call for playing Thrawn.
I could see that.
And
I think Thrawn is amazing. Seriously, one of the best written story novels. That was so well done. I am really excited. I would agree with you on that.
I think that would be the way to save the Star Wars universe is by basically doing his story.
Do that story and then have him travel through an alternate reality, and you'll pass through the Marvel one, and then we'll just wipe the slate clean and start back with the original trilogy.
There you go. Well, I think this was a fun conversation. We're going to have to call it, everybody watching, because this guy has to play Uber and go pick his daughter up from work. But I think I didn't talk much. I actually enjoy listening and learning about stuff. So it was really fun for me to remember, have my memory refreshed with stuff from the New Hope and
I think you just called her and I nerds is what you just did.
I don't mind.
No, because I nerd out for comics. So
I'm more happy with the fact that Dennis is obviously a very big fan. I'm more happy that I said things that leveled up to a proper hardcore Star Wars fan and didn't make myself sound like an absolute noob. So I'm
I
quite
thought about bringing out my lightsaber for this. Or
Whoa,
my
whoa,
and hot blaster.
PG-13. PG-13 show, Dennis.
Since
when
when
you
has
say-
your show's ever been
And
PG-13?
when you say,
Are you serious?
When you say
You know,
lightsaber,
Andy, your writing is like that of Star Wars. You don't even remember like 99% of your shows.
when you say lightsaber, what you really mean is a dog's tube of lipstick is what you mean. You're going to pull out.
Yep,
Exactly.
and it's still twice as big. So there you go.
Oh, you're so gross. God, Charlie's is on the show. You're acting like this. I don't know what to do with you. I think we're just going to have to go out on this one. Thank you all for joining us. Go back Charlie's London's newest campaign. Link is in the description below. First Man is being shipped out and delivered now. Link for that is in the description below too. If you haven't backed either yet, please back them now. And if you have backed them, thank you so much. Professionals tonight, my channel. It was going to be on Aaron's, but he can't do it, so it's going to be on mine. 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Dennis and Andy show. We'll be talking to Irene. Her last name I would butcher. She's the creator of Fiendish. I will get her to pronounce her last name tomorrow night, so I can
Andy,
pronounce it properly.
tell them there's one show besides Stranger Things that they should watch. You got me to watch. Tell them which one you got me to watch.
The Time Traveler's Wife.
That's the one.
That's a good show. Charlie's, I don't know if you've watched it. It's on HBO. It's called The Time Traveler's Wife.
No, I did want to make a point. AJ in the chat, thank you for that. I knew I'd seen him in Star Wars garb, and that was what he was. Ben Mendelsohn, he was the baddie in Rogue One. So they probably wouldn't have him because he's already
AJ's
in.
right.
But that's why I'm thinking of it. That's why he gives me Star Wars vibes.
AJ,
That's right.
Because of that, that's for you, buddy.
Oh, did you just gang sign? All right, guys. We'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.